One will be about youth and agriculture, how SAGCOT is involving farmers and youth in agriculture, but another session will be about soya. So I will just start by first calling my panelists. We start with Mr. Beno Mgaya from Lusito Agribusiness. You're welcome. Have a seat. Kibwana, just next to him. Damesh, please have a seat. My name is Tula Mloge. I'm working with SAGCOT Center Limited. SAGCOT is an organization that is working, is a public-private partnership organization working in the southern highlands of Tanzania. It is a corridor from Dar es Salaam, we call it Tanzam, to close to the border of Zambia. We are working with the private sector, with the government, but also with development partners. When I'm speaking about private sector, I'm talking about companies, but also our farmers. We regard them as private sector because their decision depends on how a businessman will decide. If he finds that one crop is giving him much return, he will go for that crop and leave the other crops. So to start with, we will have, in the first part, we will share with you how SAGCOT is empowering farmers, but also youth in agriculture. So I have Mr. Mgaya, our lead farmer. He will speak in Swahili. We try our level best to make sure that we translate. And we have Kibwana, who is youth, but also is a farmer. Mgaya, naomba utueleze kwa ufupi safari yako ya mabadiliko. Kule ambako SAGCOT wakati inaanza kufanya kazi na wewe ilikukuta na hapa ulipofika.
Safari ya kuendea kwenye mafanikio tulianza mwaka 2015 SAGCOT ilivyotembelea kule wakulima wa kule Njombe. Hata mimi nilikutwa kipindi hicho nikiwa na kipato cha chini ya $1, lakini hata hivyo katika uzalishaji wa shambani nilikuwa na uwezo wa kuzalisha kwanza tani 5. Lakini tulivyokuja kuwezeshwa kwenye kufanya demo na kupima udongo na kuweza kufanya yale mashamba darasa, tuliweza kuongeza kipato kutoka tani 5 mpaka tani 15. Hadi sasa hivi tunafikisha tani 20 ya viazi mviringo. Lakini vile vile tukafanya kwenye kilimo cha parachichi na kwa sasa hivi tunafanya vizuri sana. Wakati wanafika SAGCOT walitukuta katika vikundi vya kufa na kuzikana. Lakini wakatushauri kama mnakuwa kwenye vikundi vya kufa na kuzikana, je, kama mnataka kuandika proposal mtaomba majeneza ili muweze kuzikana wenyewe. Ikaonekana badilisha mfumo, muingie kwenye ujasiriamali. Wakatusaidia kusajili mpaka kwenda BRELA, tukapata certificate kutoka BRELA. Hapo tukaanza mafunzo sasa ya kilimo biashara, akatunganisha na kilimo trust. Tukafanya kilimo biashara, tukafundisha karibu Njombe TC yote, na baada hapo tulichukuliwa kwenda Nane Nane.
Okay. Asante Mgaya. Tutaendelea baadaye kidogo. Bwana Kibwana, naomba utueleze wewe kwa upande wako safari yako imekuwaje? Umetoka wapi na uko wapi?
Tulikuwa na changamoto ya kimitaji sisi vijana katika eneo ambalo tunafanyia biashara. Kwa hiyo baada ya kutembelewa na wadau tofauti tofauti na mashirika tofauti tofauti, wakatushauri tutengeneze kikundi. Baada ya kutengeneza kikundi kina watu 30 ambao tukaweka utaratibu kama kikundi kwamba kila mwanachama itakuwa changie hisa 3 kwa kila wiki. Hapo sasa baada ya kuweka hiyo hisa ilitusaidia, huo mtaji wetu ulitusaidia kukopeshana, na mpaka sasa hivi kero ya kimtaji haipo katika biashara yetu.
We have here our two farmers. One is a lead farmer and another is a farmer but also a youth and a businessman. I just asked them, where did we start working with them? How their situation was before we started working with them. For the case of Mr. Mgaya, he mentioned that when SAGCOT started with them, they were having already groups, but those groups were only when someone is dead, then they will contribute and buy coffins and bury the person. So SAGCOT told them, now, if you have such a group, will that help you? If in case you have to write a business proposal, will you write a proposal to buy coffins? You wait till when someone is dead, then you do contribution. So they were advised to start a company, which is now formally registered with BRELA. BRELA is our registration agents for companies. So now they are registered. For the case of young man here, Kibwana, they were having challenges on having capital. So SAGCOT met them and advised them to start contributing money so that they have something to cushion them in case they have challenge. Because in case someone is sick and cannot go to the selling point, will not be in a position to have money to continue with the business. But because of the money they've been contributing, they made a fund whereby everybody was supposed to contribute 2,000 Tanzanian shillings a week. And now they are contributing, they are contributing 9,000 Tanzanian shillings a week. And that has helped them to have money, have fund, which they use to give loan to each other. Ningependa kufahamu Mgaya, wewe umesaidiwa na SAGCOT. Baada ya kusaidiwa na SAGCOT, umefanya nini hicho ulichokipata wewe? Umekifanya nini kwa watu wengine au kwa wakulima wengine? Naomba utuambie dhana nzima ya mkulima kwa mkulima inavyofanya kazi kwa dakika 2 hivi.
Mkulima kwa mkulima tulianzia mkoani Ruvuma baada ya kutembelewa pale Nane Nane na Mheshimiwa Christina Mundema akiwa mkuu wa mkoa. Alifurahiwa na kile tulichoonyesha pale Nane Nane. Baada ya kwenda Songea, wakulima walitufuata. Baada ya kutufuata kule Njombe kwa na msimu wa kuvuna, wakapendezewa na kilimo cha parachichi. Tukaenda kule, tukafanya analysis ya udongo, tukaona kwamba inawezekana kupanda parachichi, tukaanzisha vitalu. Sasa kwa kuwa wakulima wengi walikuwa mitaji ya kuweza kupanda parachichi, eka moja inamkosti karibu milioni 1 na point ila pande eka moja. Kwa hiyo tukaona kwamba waanze kupata mafunzo katika vitalu wao wenyewe, wakawa wanalipa kama ada ya shilingi 100,000 hivi na point, lakini anapata miche 100, anachimbiwa mashimo na moja kwa moja na kupanda na kupima shamba jinsi ya kukaa spacing yake ikae vipi. Baada hapo tukaenda mikoa mingine, mkoa wa Mbeya, mkoa wa Rukwa, mkoa wa Dodoma na mkoa wa Morogoro. Na huko kote sasa hivi tuna vikundi. Kwa mfano sasa hivi Mbeya kuna vikundi pale inaitwa Igoma AMCOS, imeshasajiliwa tayari na tumeshaunganisha na CRDB Bank ili waweze kupata mkopo. Ndani ya mwezi huu nafikiri wanaweza kupata mkopo tayari wa kuingia kwenye kilimo. Kwa hiyo tunafanya hivyo. Hata Dodoma tayari tuna AMCOS tayari ambayo imeshaandaliwa pale. Ndani ya mwezi huu itakuwa imeshakamilika, nao tutawaunganisha na watu wa benki waweze kuwasaidia. Kwa hiyo sasa hivi tumeshafikia wakulima 4,080 hao wa mkulima kwa mkulima katika mikoa tofauti tulionayo.
Mr. Mgaya is saying that there is an initiative in SAGCOT, mkulima kwa mkulima. In English is farmer to farm, but because Kiswahili is now an international language, I think we are proud to use our language in our initiatives. And this is an African forum, so we have to promote also African languages. Mkulima kwa mkulima is an initiative whereby the lead farmers like Mgaya, who we have trained as SAGCOT, are going to train other farmers on good agricultural practices, but also training them on record keeping, because you can't do business if you don't know what is coming in and what is going out. So this idea started in Nane Nane. Nane Nane is the Farmers Week in Tanzania. It is each year from 1st of August to 8th of August. So we sat with the Ruvuma leadership, and they asked us to go to work with their farmers, and we used the farmers. Mgaya Lusitu Agribusiness is an organization to train the farmers there. But the specific issue in this model is that a farmer must contribute money from his pocket. We are not giving loans, we are not giving grants, but the farmers are contributing. And at the end of the day, in the last 2 seasons, we have managed to plant 800 acres of avocado, and we have reached about 4,000 farmers, and one farmer group, which started April this year, have managed to get a loan from CRDB, almost 1 billion Tanzanian shillings, which they are going to use for the coming planting season. Narudi kwako Kibwana. Naomba utueleze wewe, naona unaongea kama group kwa sababu mko vijana wengi, una represent wenzio. Ningependa kujua ni wapi mnafanyia hiyo biashara na mpaka sasa mmenufaika vipi na support ambayo mmeipata?
Asante sana. Sisi kiukweli kikundi chetu asilimia kubwa ambayo washauri wakubwa nilikuwa ni SAGOT, ambao walitukuta tukifanya biashara eneo la barabara kuu ambayo kitoka Dar es Salaam kuelekea Mbeya, ule mpaka daraja ile mpaka wa Iringa na Morogoro. Kama unatoka Iringa ungeshaivuka ile daraja unatembea kama kilomita 6. Upande wa kulia utakuta eneo letu ambalo tunafanyia kazi. Kwa hiyo SAGOT kama SAGOT wengi walikuwa ni wateja wetu. Kwa hiyo walivyoona kama sisi vijana tukiwa na kero za kimitaji, waliamua kutushauri tutengeneze kikundi. Kwa kweli baada ya kutengeneza kikundi kupitia SAGOT, kwa sasa tuna manufaa makubwa, kwani sisi kama kikundi tulijadili tukaweka akiba yetu, ambayo hiyo akiba yetu mpaka sasa hivi ndio inatusaidia na tunaendelea kufanya shughuli zingine za kimaendeleo, hususan kilimo hata ufugaji.
He's working in one of the biggest market in Africa, and that are side seller vendors. I think most of you've seen them. So these are the people. So SAGOT, we used to buy from them, and we advise them to make a group. We advise them to register that group for them to be formally. We advise them to contribute so that they get capital, and now they say that they are okay, simply because they don't have fear again that if the capital is, if they don't have money anymore, they can't continue with the business. But apart from that, we continue supporting them on other issues, other aspects, so that they can be bankable. For example, training on good agricultural practices, but also inclusive green growth principles, which are very critical for our environment. We are training them, but also record keeping and so on and so forth. So this is something we are not working alone. We are working with others. As I said, we are supporting youth, and also in groups, but also individually. Here we have another initiative of youth, which we as SAGOT are doing, or our partners are doing, that is called Farm for the Future initiative, whereby today, if it would have not been this session which is going on, here we were supposed to be with the regional commissioner from Iringa, regional commissioner of Mbeya, regional administrative secretary of these two regions, to be here, and also the permanent secretary from the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries, and regional commissioner from Shinyanga, Madam Mdeme, who started this idea. So I just want to say, when we are working, we don't work only with private sector, but we also work with the government, especially in the local government. We started the idea with them, and we were supposed to sign 3 compacts. One was the compact between Iringa Regional and Viwavi. The group of youth is called Vijana Wauza Vitunguu, Viwavi, and private sector, which is also working with the Viwavi. But unfortunately, the signatories are not there, so we can't sign. We will sign with them in another time. They've agreed to sign. And also, these Viwavi, they are being supported by National Empowerment Economic Council. PAS, the CEO is there. Yes, is there, who is also supporting. We are supporting Viwavi, but also Tanzania Agricultural Development Bank. Unfortunately, the CEO is not here, is also in that session. These 5 parties were supposed to sign, because we are going to work with them to see that we are supporting all the road vendors along the Tanzam Road, And NEC has already made a survey whereby we know now we have about 340 small street vendors from Tunduma to Dar es Salaam. That number we have already, and we have a lot of women and youth involved in this business. And another signing was supposed to be with Mkulima kwa Mkulima, the Lusito Agribusiness, Mbeya Regional Secretariat or Mbeya Regional Commissioner, and the private sector GBRI, who is already in this session. And this is just to show the commitment of the government to support all the farmers who are going to support other farmers where they are. I'm allowed to have at least 1 minute to allow Mr. From Farm for the Future to speak 1 sentence, because we have also another signing for the Farm for the Future, the private sector, and the Iringa Regional Secretariat, because they are working in Kilolo District.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Osman. I'm the project manager for Farm for the Future. We are located in Iringa. It is a 350 hectare farm. We are 5 years old. We have started with the seed maize for Seedco. So we are a big farm. We are producing this year 1,000 tons of seed maize. And today we got 11,000 seedlings of macadamia from Kilimanjaro to Farm for the Future. And next week we get another 11,000 seedlings from macadamia. So we will be planting 22,000 macadamia trees the coming weeks. We are not only a commercial farm. We have an NGO which are helping the community to a better standard of living. We are training local farmers together with Yara and Seedco. We are training young single mothers to stand on their own feet. We are even supporting the kids to the young mothers. So 1 + 1 become 4. When you help the mother and you help the kid, you do great to the family. We are helping 40 poor families with goat milk keeping. Them Norwegian goats, they are milking. You can see their faces are changing because they get goat milk. And in the future, it's a value chain thinking. The milk will be delivered to ACES. So that is a very popular project. But we are doing more. We are also doing something very special for Tanzania, and that is to awake the interest and grow the knowledge of agriculture to the kids, to the young people, to the youth. So we are building Children's Farm for the Future, where we invite in school classes 1 a day. We have goats there, we have egg layers, we have broilers, we have all sorts of animals, and we have nice facility for the kids to start to learn good food. We have a fish dam there. It's unbelievable. The Minister of Agriculture, he loves it. He wants us to do a similar project to the government's big farm in Dodoma. So already we are known as doing something special. Farm for the Future is a driving force in community empowerment. You need a farm to be the driving force. You need a place to show the local farmers that it is possible. It's possible to move from 1.2 ton per hectare to 5 ton, to 6 ton, to 8 ton. We are not just a consultant company. We are a farm which proves things are possible. We still have a long way to go. We are happy to be together with Sarkot. They are helping us a lot. We are finding very good partners locally. I'm not coming from Norway with a lot of farmers to learn something to you. I'm just coming as a project manager and a person to raise the funds. We have invested 2.8 million US dollar. It has been a very hard way, but we see the light and we are growing and climbing. We have a very good relation with the government. We get a great support. And to be here at this forum, I can tick off. We are really doing what the future wants us to do. Soil, leveling, and the right equipment. A new drone is coming to the farm within 3 weeks. So we are showing, I'm completing here. Yeah. We are showing the young people that farming is more than a hen house. Thank you.
Thank you, Uland. Thank you very much for your presentation. I would like, before I leave the stage, I would like to also thank AGRA for the support they are providing to us, specifically for the work we are doing with Viwavi. Myself, I'm a student. My fellow student, where are my fellow students here? There. It is Primitiva from the University of Sokoine. She's Dr. Primitiva, the soil scientist. We are working together in, we are doing a leadership course called Ikala. Through that leadership course, we have been challenged to support youth and everybody who is selling along the roadsides in Tanzania. But the project we are doing, we expect that will be scalable all over Africa because those kind of people are there, those markets are there. So we thank Kala very much for their support, and also our coaches are here. Wairimu and your colleague, please stand up so that we can see you. So Viwavi, these people, hawa wako nyuma yetu tunavyokuwa tunafanya kazi na nyinyi. So I thought it is good to mention that. So SAGCOT is all over the place. So to say we are working with a lot of colleagues. 1 minute on behalf of the signatories. Can Mr. Kaduma, you can come and say a word?
I think for those who don't know, the Private Agricultural Sector Trust Fund, we're a credit guarantee fund, operational in Tanzania now for 23 years. And we work with about 15 financial institutions, banks, who are lending into their Greek space with a collateral guarantee on the back of the lending as part of the de-risking for lending to this particular sector. And the banks we're dealing with range from the microfinance institutions to some of your larger corporate institutions. So the typical loan that is supported by PASS is as low as $100, $150, and we have guaranteed loans as high as 15, even $20 million. And we are quite excited to work, to be working with the youth groups in this Tanzam Highway, because this is the typical group that if we are able to support them properly, and I'm talking about PASS and the rest of the signatories and the rest of us that are listening to what is going to be happening, these are the typical Tanzanians. And if you're looking at Africa in general, this is a typical population where if we are able to support them and support them properly, then the multiplier effect is very, very significant. And therefore, very excited to be part of this compact, and we look forward to work with them on the training side, helping them with developing business studies, business plans. We have a business development services arm that we do, but should they then have to seek loans, then we should be able to come in on the guarantee side, where we guarantee as high as 50%, and for youth groups like this, as high as 80% of the value of the loan that they are taking. So we're very excited to be here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kaduma. I thank you all. My session is finished. I welcome my colleague, Abdallah Msambaj, who will continue with another session on soya. Actually, we as SAGCOT, we contribute so much on soya because we know protein is important for human beings, but also for animals. So now, Karibu, Mr. Msambach.
I see already the energy levels are beginning to decline. But you all know what you should do when you have got low energy levels. Please go around and grab a drink of soy milk or soy drink. There are many. Just back there is a lot of soy drink. I see soy yogurt, soy ice cream, soy pancakes, soy mandazi, a lot of soy options back there. But then, what are interesting times to be a young and youthful person? You will all agree with me. The few days we've been here, the central topic is all surrounded around young people, young African continent, younger generation, younger Tanzanians, and how do we provide a mechanism to make young people thrive amid the challenges on the food systems. So we've witnessed already at the first session, God Center Limited basically tries to bring aboard all the issues in the youth and how are the options for them. What are the options for them? And we are maintaining the panel, the young people, Mr. Mbwana, Mr. Beno Mgaya, Mr. Austin Botlane, but also the youngest of them all, Professor Damesh Ganatra. So without further ado, just stating a context on what we do within SACCOT Center Limited regarding the soybean. I wish to kindly kickstart with Mr. Damesh. Mr. Damesh, I'll start with you. We are informed that Africa has a median age of 21 years old, but also Tanzania has a median age of 18 years old. Such a youngful and youthful nation. But also, both Africa and Tanzania are greatly endowed, as we already know, with essential ingredients, both natural and structural, to make really things happen. You are a seasoned entrepreneur, agri-entrepreneur, but also you've been working in 3 continents, Asia, Europe, but mostly in Africa, based from Kenya. And you have been involved into structuring youth-related initiative surrounding common beans and alike. But recently, you have been very closely working with SACCOT Center and the partners to frame activities around soybean value chain. So, my question, Mr. Damesh, building from the youthful point of angle and bringing the soybean as a commodity, how and what did you think could really make it tick, bringing the youth into a scalable and into transformative value chain such as soybean?
In terms of engaging the youth, one of the biggest challenges that the youth face is not realizing exactly where the opportunities are. And then when you identify some of the opportunities for the youth to participate, it's a question of how do you actually access finance? How do you leverage some of the financing mechanisms to create those opportunities to those youthful entrepreneurs? Linkages to markets is also one of the other barriers to scaling opportunities in a sustainable manner. So it's a case where we have taken a market-led approach to this program, where we identify where exactly the value addition is happening, where the demand for soybean is, working backwards to the production systems to identify exactly what role and function the youth can perform in accessing and unlocking some of those opportunities and to equitably participate to provide that sustainable offtake. So some of the opportunities that we're focusing on is helping the youth articulate the business in terms of play that role in processing some of the soybeans, in providing some of the labor at the farm level, at the village level, putting them into groups such that there is advocacy, knowledge sharing, and also how best we can enable some of the finance to further their business.
Thank you very much, Mr. Damesh. There is one thing which, building from the first session, it emerged clearly the role of collaborative efforts among the partners, and how do we leverage on synergies, and how we bring about each other, collective efforts and all sort of engagements. So building from that, Mr. Damesh, how can we, among the partners or stakeholders within the soybean, how can we basically click it and make it happen?
One of the approach that we are utilizing in this process is developing a soybean compact that engages with all the stakeholders, both from the public sector and the private sector, policy institutions, as well as research organizations, to enable knowledge sharing, but also creating a voice within the industry that everybody can participate in co-creating sustainable solutions. One of the areas that we're looking to further part of this initiative is understand exactly where the demand is and working backwards by engaging with the stakeholders and the chain actors in ensuring that there is production systems that can be scaled and where youth can participate in that process.
Thank you very much, Damesh. Mr. Beno Mgaya, hili swali ni kwako kama mkulima, na tumekuwa tuna mazungumzo ya mara kwa mara katika setup ambayo unaifanya. Mara nyingi inatangulia kuitazama fursa, na mkisha tazama fursa mnarudi nyuma kuangalia mazingira ambayo yanafanya hiyo fursa iweze kuwa really something which you could run with, iwe fursa kweli na mnaweza kuifanyia kazi. Kwa mtazamo wa fursa zilizopo kule, zao la soya limekaaje katika context ya mkulima, na katika maeneo yale ambayo umekuwa ukifanya kazi na wakulima linaonekanaje, na ni maeneo gani ambayo unadhani kwa kweli tukiweza kuyafanyia kazi yanaweza yakaifanya sasa iwe fursa ambayo unaweza ukakimbia nayo? Karibu.
Soya kwenye vikundi vyetu ni sehemu ya palizi kwa upande wa parachichi. Kwa hiyo tumeweka mazao kama 3-4: maharage, soya, viazi mviringo, kwa sababu mtu hawezi kusubiria parachichi kwa muda wa miaka 3 akiziangalia tu asubiri kuvuna. Kwa hiyo tunaweka mazao ya muda mfupi, kwanza yanatengeneza rotation, kuweka ardhi kae vizuri, udongo kae vizuri, lakini vile vile mkulima anaanza kupata kipato ambacho kinamwezesha kusubiria kuvuna hizo parachichi. Kwa hiyo soya ni eneo ambalo tumeliweka kwenye makundi yetu kwa kilimo cha parachichi, ni kama sehemu ya palizi.
Nashukuru. Na linapata msaada ambao ama focus ambayo mnaitarajia ukifananisha labda na mazao ambayo mmeyaweka kimkakati?
Kama zao linakuwa na usimamizi na wakulima wetu wanataka sana uhakika wa soko, yaani huwa wakishayumbishwa mara moja huwa wanapotea, wanarudi nyuma. Kwa hiyo kukiwa na udhibiti wa upande wa soko, wakulima hawana shida, kwa sababu wanachokitafuta wakulima ni pesa. Kwa hiyo wakiwezeshwa kwenye upande wa masoko, wakulima wetu wako vizuri.
What Mr. Beno Mgaya referring to is, first you have to start with a market, and you have to ensure farmer that there is a market, there is off-taking, and then the farmers, mostly the youth farmers, would see that as an opportunity and they collectively engage into production. So I'll come back to Oystein. Within the TSSI, this is basically the area where we really wish to focus. So allow me, Madam Host, if I can ask FTMA via Mr. Peter Kazungu, just 1 minute to highlight how are we doing it regarding to creating the markets for the farmers.
I'm called Peter Bimaro Kazungu, the country coordinator for the Farm to Market Alliance. The Farm to Market Alliance is a consortium of 6 organizations that make markets work for farmers at the last mile. These 6 are World Food Program, Yara, Bayer, Syngenta, Rabobank. And for us to make markets work in the soya industry, we're quite excited to partner with SAGOT under the TSSI initiative. And in this initiative, we're basically looking at how we can support the aggregation of soya in 3 regions of Tanzania. This is Morogoro, Njombe, and Mbeya. And what we're trying to do is to see how we can be able to serve the needs of off-takers. So our target for this year is to mobilize about 450 metric tons of soya. We have been able to connect with some interesting buyers who want to see how they can translate the soya into an industrial product, especially for the feeds. So we're excited to see how we can contribute to bringing about competitiveness of the soya industry in Tanzania. We don't only do offtake, we also facilitate at the production level, where we work with input companies to introduce new varieties into the system. And we're looking forward to bringing the soya industry in Tanzania to be as competitive as it is globally, but also within the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Yes, so that is how we do. As I said, we start with the market, and then we go linking the market with the production. But then there is one thing, Peter, you mentioned. You mentioned about the technology, you mentioned about the seeds. But then I understand sometimes bringing those innovations and bringing those technology could be a bit challenging, and especially when the farmers or the youth, the kickstarters, they are new into the business. So within the TSSI, we have been seeking pathways on how to basically making the technologies such as seed available to the farmer, but as well making it happen to the in the term of bringing the knowledge, the skills. And we are doing this very close with the government, but also we are doing it together with the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, the IITA, just the way to try to have it all from the supply side all the way to the market side. And for this, I wish to welcome Dr. Freddy Baijukia. Just again 1 minute to explain or to tell us how are we doing it with regard to strengthening the supply chain and the seed system.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. My name is Frederick from IITA. So what we do is basically try to identify who can help us producing these seeds. We are partnering. When we talk about seed, you need really a true seed. For the moment, we are using the public, generated seed from our colleague Stanley Uyole. And from there, we advance them to multiply them using a private sector. And this private sector is, for now, we are working with the Sange Agroceutical, who is based in Mbeya. They are helping us to multiply these seeds. And this seed will be, again, channeled through what we call aggregation center, formed by our colleagues farm to market, so that they reach farmers. But what is important is to understand who are these farmers, where are these farmers, what is their interest, how much land do they have. So at the moment we are going through the exercise of profiling these farmers from what we call hotspot producing areas in Tanzania. And that the farmers who are going now to be linked, to aggregation center in terms of the inputs, again, in terms of also output when they produce. Let me not take much time and allow others to speak. Thank you very much.
I appreciate Dr. Freddy. Thank you very much. Now we've seen it, that this is the holistic approach. You have basically to tie each and every knot. And that is what it really means to have a comprehensive and elaborative and transformative kind of system. Then Dr. Freddy, you spoke about innovations again, but I understand we cannot do it alone. We have to bring in the private sector, as we've said. You mentioned seed company, one of them, but also seed is just one component. There could be others within that system. The knowledge, etc., etc. On the panel, I do have Mr. Ostein from Yara. Mr. Ostein is a director for strategic partnership within Yara, and they've been behind the soybean initiative. They've been within the crafting of the program. But then, Mr. Oshtein, can you a little bit highlight from the business point of view and from providing the mechanism which could basically provide options and easy way for the farmers, and I put on the bracket youthful farmers, to kind of have a way and a means of accessing the innovation, the required innovation to make it happen. And if you wish, you could provide soybean as a commodity in concern.
If you Google youth and agriculture, you can somehow become a bit depressed. You get the impression that agriculture is not really an interesting field to explore further. But then when you move around also within the premises we are sitting in, you meet a lot of youth and you sense a certain degree of energy and impatience and willingness to invest in agriculture. So maybe the narrative that we are becoming used to, that agriculture is not really a pathway to income, should maybe be questioned. I'm asking myself, what we hope through this sustainable soy initiative, at least to create a bit of consistency, the true potential of the crop. I mean, Abdallah mentioned you could go over there and consume yogurt and you can have an ice cream, and there are multiple value addition opportunities. It's not only about primary production of soy. Yeah? So one instrument that is right in front of us is all this information now shared through the digital space, that opportunities are being exposed to young people. They see opportunities, they want to test it out, they want to do it themselves. Then, as Dharmesh is saying, it's about lack of support. How do we reframe some of the mechanisms that we are typically used to? Government resources, multilateral institutions, NGOs, we are not maybe able to respond effectively to the needs in this specific value chain. Working capital was mentioned by Dharmesh also. There is opportunities to move forward, again and again, but we don't have the operational capacity to tap into this opportunity. So, with the center now moving forward with its corridors approach, maybe we will be able to establish a financial mechanism that could actually respond to the real needs of an evolving value chain. That when a business case is evolving, you don't have to wait 2 years and the checks and balances of the bank will not give you the money after all. So there is a lot of opportunity in the soy crop. It's good for human health, it's good for the soil, it's good, and it needs to be explored further. I think Tanzania is losing out of a great opportunity if it's not investing more in the soy crop.
Thank you very much, Oystein. Going back to the question about access to resources, especially financial resources, I understand within the room there is a young fool. Can I call you a younger person? No. Joining us is Mr. Savio from the Real World Processing Company based in Ruvuma. I happened to visit them, that was around May this year. It is a startup, a smaller company, just trying to process and to bring soybean grain from the farmers and working the miracles. But I understand Savio, the TADB and other financiers have been able to work along with you and trying to understand what you are doing in Ruvuma. So maybe in 1 minute, just for us to understand, because you are coming from that angle, just tell us what really, for the younger person or for the Kickstarter, you have already accessed the finance to the commercial lenders. How did you make it, and what are the available gaps as we speak?
Okay, thank you very much. Apart from all which is being done by SAGOT and AGRA, there is much to do with the technology. We are the one who are providing the processing technology, And this soya, without this technology, it is useless because we need protein. How do you get this protein? You must have this technology. You will find the processors are doing very nice in oil seeds, but with soya, you need a very big investment. You cannot compare it maybe with sunflower, expellers, and all other these things. That's why you find the farmers, they are producing soya, but they are not the users of soya. You will go to so many places, you find soya everywhere, but it is sold as raw as it is. So youth now have a very good opportunity to make sure that they invest in this technology, to make sure that the soya is being processed, then the protein goes back again to the community, so that the farmers can also get they get the protein from what they produce. Otherwise, farmers will be producing soya and they will not be getting the protein from it. Why? Because the farmers sell soya as a raw material, and the price which they are getting is very, very low. You find the middlemen are buying soya bean from these farmers, and they sell it to the processors. Here we process it, and it goes back again to the farmer at a very high price, to which now he cannot even buy the soya for her or his protein. So if the investment in this technology is done to the high extent, this means that protein will be everywhere to the farmers, and the farmers will get what they need. This is my take. But of course, apart from this investment which we have done, still we have some problems. We need to invest more, because the machine which you have, the machine which you visited, is very small. It cannot give the service to the all soya which is produced in the area. So we need to increase the capacity of the machine. So we need an investment of like $750,000, so that we can be having a big technology and make sure at least we process the soya in the southern highland at 75 to 80%. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Savio. I understand, because I've been there. There are two options when it comes to mechanism where farmers have very small outputs from what they are doing. Either you bring smaller SMEs or smaller processing factory near them to collect whichever smaller which is available, or you have mechanism to aggregate and have a bigger factory somewhere. So the gentleman there, maybe he was not very open about it. He is processed very small volumes. You can even process a debe. You take your debe there and provide those services, and there is exchange. A debe, you pay some amount of money, and then you go away with a processed debe, which you can trade that processed debe with the feed formulators within the very same vicinities. It is a bit transformational, because there is higher price for a processed debe than what the farmers are getting from the grain. So winding it up all, I believe we've had the experts, the panelists, but also the experience from the farmer. The message which we are getting is the systems looks to be functional, but there is a tweaking and twisting here and there. And this is really what the TSSI is trying to achieve. But also we have started with few collaborators, few partners. We are looking forward to expand it a little bit in terms of a wider scope, having more compacted partners, people who are bringing the solutions, but also into a form of agreement. My colleagues, as mentioned, the people who were expected earlier from the regions and from the government are here, and they wish to provide the commitment on the MOUs and the signing.
Round of applause, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Msambach. Here we have Madam Bengi Issa. She's Executive Secretary of National Economic Empowerment Council of Tanzania. She's working all over Tanzania supporting youth and women and everybody who is in the economic sector. But also we have Saidi Madito. He's Assistant RAS from Mbeya Regional Secretariat. Madam, I give you 1 minute, 1.5 if you can manage.
My name is Bengi Issa. I work with the National Economic Empowerment Council. We are working with all over Tanzania, and we have a structure of working with local government authorities. In every local government authority, we have economic empowerment coordinators, who are, most of them are community development officers. Their role really is to make sure that the formation of groups in the society is being done. Also training of those groups, registration of groups, issuing of loans. As you know, the local government, they have 10% loans, for 4% for women, 4% for youth, and 2% for people with disability. We have an arrangement with SAGOT of, we've started the pilot for looking at the traders along the road of Tanzam Road, but we are intending to go the whole country so that we can actually formalize those groups. Most of the groups, they sell agricultural products. We want them to organize themselves to form groups, and also so that we can have a specific program for them, capacity building, access to finance, and other things. So this is what I wanted to share. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Issa.
I'm here on behalf of the Regional Secretariat of Iringa, Mbeya, Songwe, and Njombe, where we are working with the SAGOT as part of the implementers of the SAGOT initiative. We are ready to witness the signing of the MOU with all stakeholders. We know we have been working with SAGOT and the other stakeholders in different capacities. So as part of the government, we are ready to witness and the signing of the MOU. Otherwise, I wish you all the best, and we welcome you in Mbeya. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, the presenters, or our panelists. Thank you, my fellow moderator. I don't know where he is. And thank you for all who contributed in this session. This is the end of our session. Okay, I've been asked by the Oystein and Damesh. I've been asked by our communication officer that the panelists should come here, and those who are going to sign, representatives to make a picture, and the moderators. Mgaya na Chibwana naomba mje, Madam Bengisa naomba uje, Madito. I think the PASS, IITA, and others who are working together, the TSSI partners,